the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Monday morning. We're glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz Podcast and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn intake. Brett and Faith here on a Monday morning, post Auburn destroying Ball State 42-3. Auburn back in the top 25, Faith. We're going to talk a lot about that. But first and foremost, good to see you as always. Always good to get a week started after a win.
No question about it. Good to see you too.
Yeah, we're not going to try to play around like we are surprised that Auburn won this game in dominant fashion. We talked about it all week. It was, you can't hype up a team that struggles as much as the Ball State does on offense. And they struggled again on Saturday. And in our post-game show, we kind of went through and broke down all the stats. We won't go back through and do all that again this morning, but, some things that stood out to us, we'll go back and highlight those things, Faith. And, one thing that obviously stood out to both of us was Jeremiah Cobb. He was the guy because Damari Alston was out. He only carried the ball 11 times, but had 121 yards rushing and had 2 touchdowns. So had a really, really solid night. And, some other guys got to carry the football, but for the most part, Jeremiah Cobb kind of carried the weight back there in the backfield for Auburn Saturday.
Yeah, he had a really good night. Everyone talking about Damari Alston and the game he had at Baylor was good. But, Auburn didn't need him for this specific game. Just go ahead and heal up, rest up. We saw how well Jeremiah Cobb performed in his abilities. And just like Coach Free said earlier and in the presser after, this could be a breakout year for him. And I think this is just the start to Jeremiah Cobb.
I do too. And I think it was great that he had really the stage to himself. Like, again, we're glad that we've got Damari and Jeremiah as a combo. And, I don't think Jeremiah having the night he had changes anything for Damari. When he comes back, Damari will be the starting tailback, and Damari had good numbers against Baylor. Would Jeremiah Cobb had the night he had Saturday if Damari would have been in there? No. I think, obviously the carries would have been split. And you look at, Jackson Arnold, as an RPO style quarterback, and Auburn throw the ball a bit more, 28 times. I don't know how the split would have been, but I don't know that Jeremiah Cobb would have eclipsed 100 yards. So I like it. I think he's bided his time, and he got out there and he performed when the spotlight was on him, or the lasers, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the lasers. Yeah, no question about it. Again, a night that we didn't see too much of the passing game that everybody thought they were going to see. And again, a little bit, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but against a team like Ball State, you want to see what can happen through the air and practice some of those passes and drills and routes and everything. And, you and I were talking about just how easy the sideline passes were that were given. And again, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but definitely expected more from this team when it comes to, you want to see the ball get thrown in the middle of the field every once in a while. Did not see any of that. And again, against a defense like Ball State, you want to test your limits a little bit. You're going to need to use that in games against Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia that we have coming up. You're going to have to do some of those unsafe passes, and Jackson Arnold gaining the confidence that he has been throughout the spring, fall, and now the season. that was a perfect opportunity for Auburn to go ahead and try to show that.
I think you and I felt like we were going to see that last night, or actually Saturday night. This is Monday. We thought we were going to see that, and we didn't. And it was a lot of safe passes. And Coach Freeze said that on the 4 incompletions, he kind of dialed up some stuff downfield that Jackson didn't maybe have the time, maybe a little pass rush, a little bit more than they expected from Ball State. And, he was sacked a couple of times, and, they got to him early. You and I, with a perspective that we had in the end zone, saw several guys. I know on a couple of occasions, Malcolm and Eric were both open. And I thought Jackson, and again, I'm not back there, and I thought Jackson saw him, and he just chose not to make the throw. So, but regardless of that, spread the ball around, 24 completions on 28 attempts, 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. We had somebody come up to us and say last Saturday night that, hey, look, it's hard to complain about a guy that only misfired 4 times and had 3 touchdowns on 250 yards, but it just wasn't anything that blew you away. So a solid night. No, I'm not, and I don't want people to think you and I are on here complaining. We're not. It's just kind of like maybe didn't challenge the Ball State secondary over the top as much as I thought. I thought we would see Auburn try to take the top off that defense a few times, and we didn't really see that. Now we saw a nice throw and catch to Eric Singleton for about 30 yards on that touchdown pass.
Yeah.
But that's not taking the top off of defense. That was a corner route where he had a jump, and Jackson Arnold threw a really, really nice ball that he could catch. And but I was thinking maybe some post routes down the middle of the field, down the seam, down the hatch marks. But we didn't see that. So it is what it is. So but overall, you did what you thought you were going to do against. Didn't cover though. I think it was 43.5, and Auburn won 42-3. So even if they'd have shut Ball State out, like I said on the post-game show, they still wouldn't have covered. But hey, for all you gamblers out there, you got an apology from Lane Kiffin on Saturday night. So that's the chance you take when you gamble, right? I don't know what else to say on that. Typical Lane Kiffin.
You can ask for.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, but overall, hey, you improved to 2-0, and now you shift your focus this week to South Alabama. And South Alabama coming in a morning game. It's homecoming. It's probably going to be pretty hot. The temperature was pretty nice Saturday night in Jordan-Hare with the clouds, and it rained just a little bit before kickoff, and then that kind of got out of there, and it ended up being a pretty pleasant night. And we'll take a little time to talk about the environment, Faith. Man, it was something to behold.
Yeah, it was pretty packed in there. It was definitely not, the most packed I've seen Jordan-Hare before, which against Ball State, I don't think you're going to see something like that. But it was very full. Took a second somehow for us to recognize the Jumbotron. I don't know how. Because
we had all kind of other stuff going on, and I think I looked at you and I said, "Hey, look, there's the jumbo."
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, and there were a lot of people on the field. There will not be that many people on the field pregame. Regarding recruits, regarding just friends, families, people that buy those tickets. You don't normally see
kids playing pickup football.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, there were so many people on the field. Then there was the halftime recognition of I don't know what year of the team it was. And then you had the basketball players on the field for part of the game. I will say it was hectic, but I will say Auburn did a very good job of keeping everyone where they were supposed to be and not on the field and everything like that. So that was really, really nice. But it was moving the place. Yeah, I'll say that.
It definitely was. So, great environment. Thought Auburn did a great job. Like you said, I'll echo what you said. They did a great job of managing everything and pulled off a really, really nice laser show between third and the fourth quarter. So it was really, really nice. All right, let's get to some of our partners here because they're really nice too.
Yes, and talking about cool, Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean, call on Sensagreen. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama. For air that's cool and clean this fall, call during dollar days, call Sensagreen for major discounts on HVAC repairs and installs plus installation with Professor Greenbacks. Get HVAC smart at sensagreen.com through Thanksgiving with up to $100 off HVAC repairs, $500 off installation work, and $1,500 off new HVAC system. Sensagreen with Carrier, turn to the experts. How cool are these coupons?
They got to be pretty cool.
I mean, I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Another cool group, Scout Program Management. If you're looking for a company to manage your project, they are the ones to do it. If you're a municipality or an educational institution, they handle multi-million-dollar projects, $100,000 plus projects, and they'll hold the contractors accountable, and they'll make sure it's done correctly from start to finish. So make sure you call on Scout Program Management. Give them a call. Go check them out online, and you'll see what great work they do and all of their long list of testimonies of businesses and educational entities that they have guided through major construction projects. So check them out.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. We had Justin out there on Friday night with the live music that they had going on. He said it was packed out there. So that's great to see. We love Bunkers and how fun it is to go there. I know they've got a lot of different events going on this fall during football season. I know we're actually going to head over there here pretty soon and just get back over there and hang out with all of them. Super, super excited and looking forward to just getting back over there and, maybe working on my golf game. Who knows? Getting the steak sliders, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, if the golf game's not on point, you've always got the steak sliders to fall back on.
Amen.
So never going to lose there. So check them out. Plenty of parking places there in downtown Auburn, 50 of them to be exact. All right. Guess what? Auburn back in the AP Top 25.
Since 2021, I'm telling you, it's because I was at school there. I had some sort of curse on Auburn. And now that I'm not in school there, my curse
They're picking it up.
has lifted off of me. So you're welcome, Auburn people, because I think I was the reason.
Well, probably everybody in that time frame that you just mentioned probably feels the same way. So you're not alone, right? And so, hey, look, I had a roller coaster time at Auburn. We went to the SEC championship one year, and the next year we fired a coach. So that is about as prototypical of Auburn schizophrenia as you can get. Bipolarism, whatever, high and then low, back to high. I mean, literally, seriously, went to SEC championship game, fired a coach, hired a new one. 2 years later, back in the SEC championship game. Year after that, get blown out at home by Alabama. After that, you go on a 6-in-a-row run against Alabama and probably one of the better stretches that we've had in Auburn recent history in the mid-2000s. So, it's just you just don't know. You know what wave you're going to catch when you go to Auburn. So, but you did have a really good run in basketball. I will say that.
Yeah, we did. Too bad I couldn't go to any of the games, though.
Yeah, because it's
and I wasn't a student, actually. So
trying to help you out here. So
I know you are, and I appreciate that, but good Lord.
All right. AP Top 25, Ohio State, still number 1, Penn State 2. The LSU Tigers 3, which didn't look very good against La Tech. So Oregon 4, Miami up at 5. Man, it's kind of odd seeing the Hurricanes back that high. Georgia 6, Texas 7. Something's wrong with Arch Manning. Hey, if you go back, I tweeted it out. His throwing motion, the grimace on his face when he's making.
Yeah, there's something wrong with his shoulder.
It's something going on. It's they're either hiding that. I think you're going to find out more about that. We'll see. You can't hide expressions on your face. And if you've ever played sports, when you throw a baseball and you try to change, if you saw Arch Manning in that Ohio State game kind of come here and he looked like Uncle Rico. You saw all the memes out there in Dynamite. Well, he's doing that because the normal throwing motion hurts. So you try to change the way you do things to compensate for that. And that's what happened. So anyway, Notre Dame 8, Illinois 9, Florida State. What about the Seminoles going from obscurity to number 10?
I mean, Gus Malzahn.
Yep. South Carolina, Clemson 11 and 12. The state of South Carolina, got to be loving that. Oklahoma, our nemesis, coming up in a couple of weeks up at 13. Iowa State 14, Tennessee 15, A&M 16. Got them right after Oklahoma. Ole Miss 17, your favorite team outside of Auburn. South Florida, with that big win over Florida, jumps up into number 18. The Crimson Tide, they feel like they're back after the beat down 70-point over their opponent, Louisiana Monroe. Beat them up to death. Utah 20, Texas Tech 21, Indiana, the Hoosiers 22, Michigan 23, and your Auburn Tigers are number 24. How about that? Along with the Missouri Tigers.
There you go.
Set of Tigers there. This is going to be a shorter podcast because we've got to hit the road this morning, headed to Huntsville for our on the road show. Really, again, going back, we appreciate everybody that tuned us in on the post-game show. Lots of people watching, lots of comments. We appreciate it. We thank Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines so much for what they do for us here on our programming, all of our partners. Again, we can't thank them enough. But, hey, before we get off, Faith, we got a couple more partners we'll get to in just a minute. But good to see Auburn back in the top 25. Take care of business. Of course, we'll talk more this week. We'll be at practice on Tuesday. So we'll give another report on what we see and what we're allowed to see. Maybe Coach Freeze maybe is in a good mood and lets us stay a little bit longer. So we'll see kind of how that goes. But just glad to see Auburn back in the top 25.
11 SEC teams in the top 25.
I had not counted that. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's what I was doing, but I kept running through it to make sure I was counting right.
Okay. Math on par. So
yeah, trying to. 11. So that's a lot. I was like,
you ran out of fingers, so you started looking at your feet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it's nice though that Auburn's one of the teams. I keep talking about how in the SEC, Auburn's normally middle to the bottom. Okay, well, I will take nationally being ranked at the bottom versus not being ranked at all. Yeah. So
no doubt. So
I'll take it.
Absolutely. I was going to go over one more thing tonight, or this morning, because we recorded this, obviously, so that's why I said tonight. What are the potential permanent opponents for everybody? That's what we'll talk about tomorrow. We've got a matrix. I think we were pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm.
One that we saw comparable. So we'll have to save that for tomorrow, and we want everybody to tune us in to talk about that. But we are going to talk about a couple more of our partners here on the program. Old Number One Customs, which is in our house. Hey, look, maybe this week finished up. Could be finished this week. I mean, you're going to hear me jumping for joy. 334-752-6162. If you want a bathroom remodel, kitchen, whatever it is that you need done, they'll do it for you. Outdoor living space, check them out. Old Number One Customs.
JFA Blue Plumbing, if you want that home outless water filter duo for just $15.99, go ahead and call on JFA Blue Plumbing because they're going to be able to install that. It's so important to have filtered water throughout every faucet in your house. 844-JFA Blue.
And
Oliver Ross, I know you have that tailgate coming up on Saturday morning and you don't want to get there and do the mimosas early. Well, Oliver Ross is here for you and they will do it for you. Do you know how easy that is for them? It's literally their job. So the professional bartending service affiliated with Auburn Blitz, go ahead and call on them and have a great tailgate with Oliver Ross there.
Absolutely. I know you need them. You know you need
I would need them.
No question about it. So, all right, Faith, a little bit shorter than we normally go, but we had a great post game that went about an hour on Saturday, and I see people still watching that. So we went into depth on a lot of things, kind of gave a recap of the weekend. So wanted to just get on this morning, kind of talk about Auburn being back in the top 25, Jeremiah Cobb's great performance, and, you know, Auburn getting that big win heading into South Alabama. So, all right, we will let you, as always, send everybody out.
Hope everybody has a great Monday and a great week. Best week ever.
And go be nice to people. It's just easier to do that than it is to be rude and mean. And as always, a big old